Hello and welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your tired and rough-voiced host, Tony Cañas. Today I have with me Mark Miller, founder and CEO at InsureVision.AI. Mark, thank you for joining me today. How's it going?
Well, great, Tony, and I'm very pleased to be here. And it's much later for me than you, so if I can be here, I think we can both make it to the end, and I'm looking
We
forward to it.
we can
From
most
London,
definitely
England.
make it to the end. So I was at PLRB earlier this week, and then that was in Indianapolis, and then at InsureTech New York in New York. Just got home at 2 a.m. today, so that's why my voice is a little rough. Is that a top hat behind you? I just noticed.
Yeah, it is, Tony. It is a top hat,
that.
and
Is that always there, or did you go out of your way to dig it out of the
well,
closet?
I think I'm going to leave that down to the reader, to the viewer, to decide on that one. But you may not. Well, I'm going to repay there we are. Okay.
That is
So
fantastic.
I
Give
don't have my monocle and my cane. I only wear them on Saturdays and Sundays. But
Completely understandable. So, given that you are British, I'm assuming you actually already own that because sometimes you're required to wear it for like a black tie event or something. If it was an American, I would be like, you went out and got that just for this podcast.
um, well, you're right. Yes, you've seen through me, Tony. You've seen through me and my whole country. Or don't believe anything you read on the news. All Englishmen still wear top hats and canes and morning dress. So I've dressed down for the call because I thought I want to make a good impression. I got that 20 years ago. And this is not a thing I go to very often, but there's a racing event at Ascot, which is I think a little bit analogous with something like the Kentucky Derby, I think you have in the
Okay,
United States.
yes, yes.
And we have a form of dress in England called morning dress, which is those sort of penguin tails and stuff like that.
Yes.
And one wears a top hat with morning dress, and so I saw it I saw it in a charity shop or something. It was a £5 or something, and I've become very attached to it.
And
So
have you worn it anytime after that,
well,
or
weddings, yeah.
okay,
Well,
perfect.
in England, you tend to often still wear morning dress for weddings. And I'm out the other end of weddings. You see, my experience of weddings is that you have a busy wedding period around about the early 30s. You go to weddings sort of every other day, and then sort of suddenly it seems everybody's got married. And I'm waiting for the second flush or something like that. I've heard that comes around, but
Uh,
so it's ready and waiting. But yeah,
all right.
it only comes out occasionally. But I
I
thought,
I very much appreciate that. My normal one is my usual one is black, and the one that is reflected in my business card. And now I have both a black one and this red one. Uh,
well,
but
it suits me very much. And I don't know if you remember, but the first time we actually met was I I think it was late October in 2023
ensure
in
to
IT
connect.
Las Vegas. Is the first time I've ever been to Las Vegas. I've visited your great country many times, but first time in Las Vegas, first time actually in a SureTech conference. And I think you gave me a card, and you told me a little bit about it, and I
Uh,
followed you since then. Yeah, I've still got that card. I wish I'd got one here, but I do have one, and I'm just pleased to be here and follow your work with great enthusiasm. And in Sure Vision, we are really committed to delivering our technology to your country, to your market. We think the American market's the greatest market on earth. And if the price of admission is a top hat, I'm in. Okay? Any day.
it's fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Um, so we always give the guest the chance to give the elevator pitch. What is InsureVision?
Okay, so InsureVision is state-of-the-art transformer AI which turns video into a measure of risk which helps you understand driver claims, improve driver quality, save lives, save money, and make your communities safer. That's what it is.
Okay, save lives, save money,
And make your
community safe.
communities safer.
All right, okay, okay. So state of the art transformer AI. So, okay, so I am non-technical. I'm a big insurance nerd, not an IT side person.
What
Okay,
is a
so
transformer?
transformer is the T in GPT, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's it. That's that. That is it. Transformers is transformer puts the T in GPT. Yeah, generative pre-trained transformer, and really invented by Google,
Mhm,
late 2016. Made wildly popular by OpenAI.
mhm,
And we focus on vision transformers. The most sort of common, I think the best known use of transformers is in language processing, which is where
mhm,
ChatGPT, I think, stunned people with the ability to essentially summarize complicated text, to deliver human-like responses to questions. But we use it for vision processing. And the magic about transformers is that they have this thing called self-attention, which means that the machine really works like a human. It understands the context of events just like you and I do, and it can direct its attention to the useful things that matter. If the machine is able to usefully pay attention to the parts of the scene or the data that matter, it can understand them usefully. We want to understand who are good drivers, who are bad drivers, who's going to crash their car. And to do that, you really have to have transformer technology. The previous generation will only take you so far. And actually, I worked a bit in machine learning for a while. I'm new to the insurance business. So that's hence my, I mean, who wouldn't go to ITC if you heard that Earth, Wind and Fire were playing? Like that'd get that, even if you weren't in the insurance industry, you buy the ticket to get that for sure. But the reason I used to be in the speech recognition business, so I've been working machine learning since, I don't know, 2013, 2014, because speech recognition was kind of like, I think it's probably the AI tool most people have used for the longest. If you think about things
that is
like
fair.
Siri, it's been
Mhm,
around for a while and stuff like that. And speech recognition always had a language processing component as well, but it used to be quite simplistic. And it's really, the Gen AI boom, the transformer boom that's made it so impressive. And we've taken the best of that technology and applied it to vision with vision transformers. And so they're nothing to do with, I think Mattel made them, those uh sort of robots that were popular in the 1980s, but
yeah, the transformers.
they allow the machine to understand the data in a way that's radically more powerful. And from our point of view, that allows us to understand driver risk in a way that is multiple X's more powerful
Okay,
than the
so
previous
so
generation.
let's pause for a second. So the insurance nerd in me, um, and the former underwriter in me. So for the longest time, the best proxy for driver safety we had was age, gender,
Yeah,
zip code, right? Where, how much do you drive, and where, and what kind of car, and demographically, who are you? That wasn't very it wasn't very personalized at all.
yeah,
Then last maybe 15 years, progressive, at least here in the States, really led the charge in telematics, right?
yes.
So now telematics gives us a stream of data on how you're driving. Uh, so basically, you're talking about using video
Yes.
as a much richer form of
That
telematics.
is exactly what I'm saying.
Perfect. So why is video even richer than the telematics we've had for
Let me ask you a question.
yeah.
Do you drive a car?
I do, yeah.
Which sensor do you primarily use to understand the road?
My eyes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I imagine if you got really good at it, I could blindfold you, and if you trained a lot, you might be able to
Uh
pilot a car to some extent.
I am a
Um,
magician. and there is
Okay, well, I
something.
mean, but imagine for the whole population that isn't magically trained.
Yes, no,
Um,
even for like very few magicians do it, but it is a trick. So yes, it would be a really bad idea to cover somebody's eyes while they're driving.
And
Yes.
so there it is. We drive cars with our eyes. We understand the input that we receive as visual data.
Hmm.
Obviously, there's some sound data, from the hum of the road or the tire noise or something like that, and there's some vibrations. And so it's not that it's the only sensor, but it's the overwhelming sensor that we use to understand a road. When we see risk in a road, we understand it with our eyes. It is weird. We see it with our eyes and we feel it with our stomach. That's crazy, isn't it? But that's how it
True,
works.
true.
And we've trained at the core, at the absolute core of the InsureVision technology stack, as we call it. It's a fully learned crash prediction transformer. Okay, so and what it means is it's fully learned. It means that it's trained on tens of thousands of real dangerous events and crashes. So we fed in huge amounts of data of real, because crashes and dangerous driving have so many, I'm not nearly infinite permeations. So we fed in tens of thousands of this sort of type of dangerous event data. We've trained the model to understand that and learn it when it sees it. And then using that, we basically can understand risk in video. Now, the main risk of a car, obviously a car can get stolen, but the main risk from driving a car is that you will crash your car into another road object. If
Yeah.
you can understand how well you driving the car interact with those objects, and you could do that bad, averagely, or very well, anything in between, that is a way to understand we use something called a vector, which basically points that within a space of driver styles. And using that approach, we can tell you your long-term driver risk. And that approach is radically more powerful than telematics. And we are publishing a full paper and set of results in July of this year. And we think that that's a landmark moment. So,
Okay. So
with all respect
I
to all those other things, we will put our numbers out on the board and we'll say, listen, this is what we can do with this. We've already got the numbers in the lab, and they are several X above and beyond certainly anything I've seen from the industry. So we think that they'll be very interesting to the insurance sector. Please, I
okay,
interrupted.
so no worries. So basically, the the legacy telematics data can tell me that my girlfriend Renee likes to speed and I don't, but I'm easily distracted and I'm more given to hit the brakes hard because I was thinking about something in my ADHD, right? But it does not capture how close I get to
No,
physical objects.
even I'd go a level beyond that. So, just take you gave that slam on the brakes hard. I mean, there could be some very good reasons that you might slam on the brakes hard.
And telematics can't differentiate because it
And
doesn't see.
you're gonna get a G event, a G spike, and it will, like I guess the inference is that's probably bad because harsh braking is usually
Mhm.
there's some correlation between that kind of behavior and a claim event. It's not particularly strong, but there's some correlation. So, but if you were driving in a suburban area and I don't know, like a child ran in the road, this happens or something like that. In this country, children play football. I think they play ball games in the United States. Kids like balls and they can occasionally run in the road.
Mhm.
Sometimes that risk, we call it the convergence of risk. Suddenly the risk and the road suddenly converges very, very fast. Okay, so not like almost instantly. And you slam on your brakes because you're paying super attention, you're not speeding, you're a great driver. You're going to bring the vehicle to a very, very hard stop, not hit the child. But that's fantastic driving. How good is your reaction time? How quickly did you brake? How quickly did you react to the risk? We can tell a lot from you as a driver. Now, if you do not understand that that was a child running in the road randomly and you were doing all the right things, but you responded excellently to it, and you just see a spike of risk, you don't understand the context of the driving. So we focus on context. We call it enviromatics. We see it as maybe slightly different from telematics, but as you said, this is the sort of technology that people will be using. And I agree with that. I said I'm not from the sector, so I'm a kind of learner as well. We took this with a new set of eyes. So we took speech recognition scientists, whole team, We got one guy in insurance from the British company, used to be at the British company Direct Line, who, tells us about the insurance sector, keeps us on the straight and narrow. But everybody else is from basically speech recognition. So it's a tech AI team, moved industry. We're trying to apply all of the state-of-the-art techniques that we were using in speech and signal processing to
Hmm.
take them for a vision context and apply them to insurance because we saw there's a gap. Like um, the availability of compute, the prices that we can deliver it for, the value that we can get, and the impact. Because it is on premiums, but ultimately, if you make the drivers better, if you can change those outcomes, you actually can make a big impact in society. Road deaths are terrible problems. So we're aiming to basically give drivers the tools to eradicate road deaths, to give carriers the technology to really have a fine grain and true understanding of risk, and to revolutionize this industry at every sector. And we're aiming to do it at a cost point, which is very, very similar to some of the technologies you talked about previously. And I think there's a convergence of factors that makes this the right time to do that. So that hence the visit to Las Vegas and our introduction. And that brings me to today. So yeah, I hope some of that lands.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, the technology just was not possible until the last couple of years.
We call it
Uh,
time series problem. Okay, so I talked about road risk and the convergence. This is a problem that evolves over time, a time series problem. So, like, how do you know that previously what you used to do is if you take the kind of previous generation, if I just talk about computer vision, and you might have seen these sort of demos, and computer vision, you tend to have these little bounding, we call bounding boxes, these square boxes and
mhm.
oblong boxes. And so you've got usually got a network, it's called a CNN, a convolutional neural network, and it's basically doing object detection and classification. So it like if it was putting one of those networks on you, we could probably detect you like a human, high probability, and we could probably detect you've got a hat on and you've got glasses. And so we've detected essentially three objects and we've classified them. And if I want to say that that's a dangerous or not dangerous, I have to write these little hand scripted rules, like if this happens, else this happens, when this happens. This is a rules engine. It's a sort of written rules engine. The problem with that, and I mentioned at the beginning, road risk and road danger is sort of almost infinitely variable. It becomes very, very difficult to capture all those permeations satisfactorily in a rule set. How do you know that it's risky? Well, you know instantly. You kind of you see it, you know it. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to go if A is B equals C XYZ, oh, that's risky. You just process it in a second because your brain understands it. It has seen representations of those sorts of problems before. They're embedded in your cortex. You see some sort of representation that mirrors that pattern, and you got it in like a split second. The transformers we're using were very similar. So they're they're very very effective at understanding risk, and you couldn't really do this. And the other thing that you couldn't really do is you couldn't really get the prices down on this because we've really focused trying to get a solution actually for everyday drivers because like most people that drive a car aren't like heavy goods trucking fleets. Like that's a great market and everything. But you and I drive a car. I wanted to get I've got a 20-year-old son and I have a few other children below the age of driving. And I thought this would be a cool technology for young drivers. We wanted to get the prices right. We wanted to get the we wanted to get the technology right. I think the technology you couldn't do this a few years ago. It's just wasn't possible. And also to sort of miniaturize, if you like, the price and
Mhm.
bring it to a price point that's universally offering. And that's what we've been working on. The team of
So
InsureVision.
its current version, is it a dash cam or where does it get the video feed from?
We say we're dash cam agnostic. Okay. Any video source from any camera we can acquire and we can turn it into a risk. Now we do actually make for allow people to present the service and try it out. We actually manufacture our own camera devices, so you can install them and you can use them. But if you've got a camera device that acquires video, we can take that video, we can acquire it, and we can process it. And one of the things that I often do for people in a demo environment is like, if you got some video, just send it to us, we'll process it, see what the model does with it, and I'll send it back to you a couple of minutes later. So our vision very much is to focus on the machine learning side, the cloud services side, and the embedded side, because one of the things that's kind of very exciting is the next generation vehicle architecture. There's things called these software-defined vehicles, and it's essentially, I guess like a Tesla is the first software-defined vehicle. I had a Tesla in 2014. I had a first 50 batch. I think I'm really into kind of technology and stuff. And Elon Musk actually flew over to the Excel Center in London, and I think he gave my wife the keys because I was on holiday or something. I was not on holiday. I was doing something in another country. But Tesla's like their big thing was OTA updates, change the characteristics of the car, and the whole industry is now waking up to that. So you've got these sensors in the vehicles, you've got these camera sensors, you have companies like NVIDIA putting state-of-the-art compute in embedding it in the car. And we're very, very interested in running our AI models natively in the vehicles, using the vehicle sensors, no aftermarket, um, and running them on the edge at no cost as an AI company. And we're also very, very interested in a lot of businesses acquiring massive amounts of video data from existing camera networks, and they're not really able to extract the really meaningful benefits. So if you really look at where the current video camera solutions are used, they're very, very useful if you've got a claim event because you've got a video of it. And so it's a kind of reconstruction event, but they're not very, very useful as a risk understanding and prediction. And so we're adding a layer of intelligence to existing systems. So yeah, it's camera agnostic, any video source. And also we very much aspire to see it deployed in the new vehicle architectures of the very near future. So
Are
that's how we see it evolving.
are you deployed with some insurance companies?
We are.
Oh,
I'm always under somewhat pressure not to uh, I take non-disclosure very very seriously. So we are on evaluation in quite a few states in North America.
okay. So you have
But
some POCs going.
yes, and
Fantastic.
we are running very large evaluation also in my own country in London as well. And I mentioned we're publishing a series of results in July on the basis of these studies. I'm not I just I'm not allowed to say the names, but
No, no,
you
that's
check
perfectly
back in
fine.
July and
Yeah.
it'll all be there. And so yes, that's what we're doing. I mean, it's a new technology, so I think and it was also a challenge in a new technology because and this is I think this is the most interesting part of the challenge actually, but also the hardest part. What's the risk? The risk of driving badly is a claim event. But a claim event is a very infrequent event. So it's a very rare event. And so what we've been doing is we've been doing very large evaluations with very large sets of drivers in the United States and the UK to gather together definitive data against claims, driver style, driver behavior, and our technology to prove its power, its predictive power. And that's been a little bit of a piece of work that we've been doing. And we're coming to the end of that process of the POCs and the evaluation. We're publishing our results, and then we'll be sort of pushing that out as something, hopefully that you'll start seeing insurance companies around the world offering to their customers. That's our aspiration as we go into Q3, Q4 of 2025.
Fantastic. So the results come out July.
July 2025. You heard it here first.
Fantastic. And uh if everything
They're
goes
industry defining. You
industry
heard it here first as well.
defining.
I'm not gonna read them out on the thing. They come out in July 2025. But obviously it's an iterative process and we see them, they come through, and they're very strong results, they're industry defining. We reinvent risk understanding. We reinvent the ability to coach and improve your drivers, and we reinvent the way carriers can start thinking about offering services, on the insurance side to their drivers. So I'm very excited about it. The whole team is very excited about it as well.
That is fantastic. I really like that the website is super clear on the type of organizations that should reach out. Insurance companies that would benefit from more accurate risk profiling, and then automotive companies, passenger carriers, investors. Uh, so once it's in production, um, what does the implementation look like, right? So if I run the auto insurance
Let
department
me
for
give you an
whatever
example.
carrier.
So one of the things that we're going to be launching in the middle of the year is a fleet service, right? So if you're running a fleet in North America, say you're very likely to have a dash cam solution, an existing dash cam solution.
Yeah,
It's kind of
commercial fleet, yeah.
mandatory.
Mhm.
And so you've gone through all the time and effort of installing these devices, putting them out in the market, and we're going to offer you a cloud service that can basically ingest your data and it can tell you a real understanding of your best drivers from good to worst, their claim propensity and risk profile, and coaching to improve them. Now, these are sort of things that people are already offering. So, and then people say that to me, like, if I went on another dash cam company, wouldn't they say the same thing? I said, well, like, I guess so. Like, um, I don't know what's a good analogy. Like a black and white TV and a color TV are both TVs, right? They're kind of different, but they're both televisions. We can both watch programs on them. I personally I prefer color TVs, but it's the level of the power of the prediction of the risk understanding versus this previous generation of technology. And it's the capacity to get meaningful and contextual insights, which you can use within your fleet. And I think that's where we're going to differentiate from maybe what people have seen before. But how does that look? That's really simple because you've already got your infrastructure. You already got your drivers on the road. You've already got your cloud services. You've got an API infrastructure. You've got multiple services that are consuming this data. Plug our cloud services in. You think very much about that as sort of an upgrade on an existing system. So that in the first instance, that's how you will be able to get your hands on InsureVision technology. So very straightforward, simple cloud service delivered with your existing infrastructure, and that's coming out middle of the year.
Fantastic. In the insurance carrier space, commercial lines, commercial auto carriers are the most likely ones
You think so?
to benefit
Yeah,
from this type of thing. Yeah, makes
we think so. I mean,
perfect
look,
sense.
I can remember I'm not from the insurance industry, right? And so I'm kind of learning as I go along, and I'm trying to do it as quickly as possible and make the best of it in the shortest amount of time. But it has been put to me by quite a few people that I've spoken to that the kind of risk understanding data is not used for underwriting. Why is it not used for underwriting? Because it's not really moving the needle. There's no regulatory reason on fleets that you can't do that. It's just not moving the needle. It's not really something that they're still using those methods of understanding that you were mentioning, the age and stuff like that and previous accident history. And so we really want to give underwriters and actuaries to understand driver risk so a tool that really usefully correlates with the claim event. Because I think that is very useful. How they use it, obviously, that's for the insurance industry to
Yeah,
determine the best use case for it. I guess our goal is to provide them with the tools and wanting to understand how well people are driving, how to improve their driving, their long-term and short-term risk profile. I think it's not a new problem, right? It's something that every PNC carrier is trying to get a grip on. So we're offering a new approach, a, a team from a different industry, new set of eyes, like new set of ideas, and we're offering it in cloud services that you can plug into existing infrastructure so you don't have to obsolete your existing cameras, your existing devices. You don't have to go through all that pain.
that is fantastic.
And we really feel that you talked about it. The time is now, right? The time is now. The convergence of all those factors, cloud computing, advances in transformer architecture. One of the things, because you process a lot of video, we say video is quite expensive to process, right? And so if you go to sort of take an LLM or something and you start, LLMs are interesting things actually, because they have a really high generalizable level of intelligence. And if you put like a video in an LM and ask it some questions, it will tell you some stuff about that. But they're slow, they hallucinate, and they're expensive on compute. And so if you're looking for relatively rare event types within all this data and small numbers of insights that are really useful, but you have to process a lot of data. So we focused on cloud infrastructure and transformer architecture. We actually make our own networks. Like we actually take, we don't go on, Hugging Face and download somebody else's network and fine tune it a bit. We make our own networks. We use our own layers, own layer structure, own normalization structures, our own heads on the transformer, the whole thing, custom transformers, which I think is relatively rare in the industry to be able to do that because it's quite deep tech stuff. And we focused on maximum power prediction, minimum cost. It's the cost thing, like it's so important because I think, that's where some of the solutions, often go awry, don't they? If you've done something really interesting, but you can't bring it to market because you're constrained by compute costs or something. So we got these things running fast and efficiently, and we're very confident that all video data that is being acquired by these dash cams, we can process it in a way that's hugely cost effective and huge value to the users. So yeah, so that's kind of how we look at it.
All right, definitely um a very exciting technology. It makes intuitive sense to me why this can make a huge difference in insurance. Um, very excited to kind of see the results, to see the numbers when they come out.
Hope I can come back.
Absolutely, a
You
thousand
know,
percent,
I'd love to. I'm
thousand
pleased,
percent.
I'm very pleased to be here in the first place. And I'd like to say one other thing.
Absolutely.
For a company from the UK, and I wasn't from the insurance sector, the first time I'd ever really spoken to anybody in the insurance sector was actually the first, we kind of around the first time we met at ITC in 2023. And I found everybody so open to new ideas, very accommodating of the fact that, like if a guy just moved into the insurance sector 6 months ago, and I don't know, there are some things I don't know, but the people are willing to say, well, give him a free pass on that, seems to know about these things that they're talking about. And I don't think we could have done what we're doing and got to where we got in my own country. I would say there's something fantastic about the United States. I mean that, right? Like I can say that as an out, I've always thought, about the UK. To really understand the country, maybe have to ask somebody who's not from the place and like, what do you think about things? What's the good and what's the bad? I can say that everybody's been very welcoming, very open to ideas, very supportive, and to get the product live in multiple states, it's like I suppose when you found a company, it's a collection of dreams and ideas and hopes and aspirations. That's really all it is on day one. And it can go anything from like, I don't know, it can become Nvidia to, I guess, out of business and everything in between. Every outcome is possible. I'm I'm so thrilled to have gone into the insurance sector and to have come to your country and to have spoken to people in your business. And we're really hoping that we can do something really meaningful in the United States. It means so much to everybody at the business. I love to come back with the numbers in July. I'm really looking forward to going to the ITC Las Vegas in 2025. That's a plug, but nobody's giving me
Oh,
maybe I'll give me free tickets or something.
it's yeah,
Who
the
knows?
best intro to conference period.
That's what I mean.
Cannot miss.
No arguments, and I just wanted to say that. So I hope that some of that. I mean that sincerely, and I'm thrilled to be on the show with you as well. So thank you
Hey,
for having.
thank you, Mark. Thank you so much for your time today. Yeah, this has been fantastic, and look forward to have you back once the numbers come out. Thank you.
Thank you.